Alright guys, our first deck with Ghost Spider is going to be a aggressive build. And this is Hell Had No Fury, like a spider scorned. Alright, so this is all about the rush strategy with Ghost Spider. Because of those ghost kicks that she can do in the villain phase after she defends, after she attacks, she is a very, very solid character for the rush strategy. So we are going to be pairing her up with a bunch of really fun events that we can just play off her dizzying reflex to give her multiple activations. Now, the first thing we're going to be playing with her is 3 copies of Skilled Strike. Now, we're going to be able to attack. We do an interrupt. We trigger dizzying reflex. And right there, we can attack for 4. Super solid card, and it gets to trigger our dizzy reflex. So what more could we ask? We are going to be playing with a couple of weapon cards. So obviously, if we can find a weapon card pretty early, we're going to be adding 2 mean swings. Obviously, you guys know the weapon. We're going to be adding some hand cannons. So if ever the hand cannon has only one pip left or 1 counter on it, you can definitely decide to use it with mean swing instead of losing the hand cannon. So they do serve double purpose. So that is pretty interesting to increase your attack again to give you a 5 attack, and then you get to ready. So that's possibly 7 damage. Super, super solid. Again, if you don't have an event here, but you're still going to attack for a bit and you still need something to do, we do have the Moment of Triumph. Again, this is all stuff that is going to trigger her dizzying reflex. So after we attack and defeat an enemy, we're going to heal some damage for each point of excess damage dealt to that enemy by that attack. So then again, it's still going to trigger our dizzying reflexes. Again, if we don't have that, we do have other solutions. We kill an enemy, we kill a minion. Bam! We have chased them down. 3 copies. That is going to help us deal with side schemes. It's going to help us deal with other stuff. So the 3 chase them downs is going to be able to trigger dizzying reflex and remove 2 threat. So again, all these synergies with cards that cost nothing. And here is, I think everyone's going to be falling on their butts when they see this card. But now we have actually found a use for, yes, not 1, not 2, but 3 copies of Warning. So, which is very good because she has a lot of dizzying reflex triggers on the attack, on her attacks. But now with Warning, she can actually defend the villain's attack without worrying, prevent 3 damage, 4 damage with a Warning, and still get ready for with the dizzying reflex. So again, super combination here with Ghost Spider. Man, this deck is super, super efficient, and it's very, very deadly. We do have a couple of Relentless Assaults that will combine really, really well with the Moments of Triumph. And again, we have a couple of extra cards to help with damage. So we have the 2 hand cannons, which are going to be, again, to trigger the hero interrupt. But please remember, her dizzying reflex only triggers off events. It will not trigger off of an upgrade. So that is something to be very mindful of and remember. So again, you can use 2 charge counters, and then after that, you can use it for the mean swings to deal more damage. So I think that's super fun. We added a combat training in this deck. Again, if we can get it out early, great. If not, then who cares? All right, the other upgrade, we have a Plan B. Again, so if we ever have a dead card, now we don't. We can just use that to deal 2 damage. I was thinking of putting Yawnborn. So if this is definitely a choice. If you'd rather have Yawnborn in your deck, definitely put Yawnborn instead. It kind of has the same purpose. You're discarding a card to deal 2 damage. Yawnborn can definitely trigger a couple more times, but then you're kind of limiting your space for the hand cannons. So again, since we only have 2 restricted items, I preferred having 2 hand cannons in the deck. than a Yamborn. But again, it's a rush deck, and then why not? And then after that, we have a couple of good allies. We have Spider-Girl, we have Throg, and we have Hulk to complete the combination of cards. Now, for resources, we're obviously going to be running the 3 double resources, and we're going to be running only 1 power of aggression to make this deck ultra efficient. Now, that being said, there's a couple cards that you could definitely look at including if you want to switch things up. If you think it's going to be a longer fight, including a surprise attack. So if you're afraid that the villain is going to beat you up a little bit more, you can actually flip down to alter ego, and then when you flip back up, since it is a hero response after you change form, so you can actually recover and then flip up, play a surprise attack, trigger your dizzying reflexes, and ready, and still deal like 4 damage. So that is definitely an optional card if you like. Again, this is another card, Audacity. If you really need it, you can add it. You can replace the power of aggression with an Audacity if you want, because this one actually deals a damage. Again, it is a resource card, so even though there is a response on it, it will not trigger Ghost Spider's dizzying reflex ability. So there you go. So that is the deck in a nutshell. If you want to add some of the extra cards, you could, but those are just suggestions. I'm very confident. I played this deck twice already, and oh my god, it kicks butt. So you're basically not really worrying about threat. All you're doing is going straight to face. Just let you know that the Hood had no chance. It took him out in 3 turns. It was just ridiculous. So ghost kick to a ghost kick in the face, and then he dies. And then after that, what was that after that? I forget what I did. I think I just skilled strike and then kicked him with a ghost kick on turn 3 on his turn. I think it was turn 2. Anyway, you'll see in the video. It doesn't really matter. I didn't film that one, but I'll try to film one that kind of does that same thing. But it's really satisfying to kill a villain on turn 2. And she can do it. She has the damage output to be with this deck to do exactly that. So really hope you enjoyed this deck. This is Hell Had No Fury Like a Spider Scorn. All right, let's go check out the next deck. All right, our next deck is super thematic. It's going to be Across the Spiderverse. It's basically what her deck is in her precon, but just a little bit souped up a little bit. So we're even going to go take some of the cards from the Miles Morales deck. So obviously, we're going to be running our cards for Across the Spider-Verse. We're going to be running this card, Across the Spider-Verse. We're going to be running the Web of Lies, Web of Life and Destiny, Web of Lies. I'm thinking of the elf, as you sit on the throne of lies. And we're going to pitch every Spider-Man that we can. So we got Silk, we got UK, we got Spider-Man, we got Spider-Man, so many Spider-Man and Spider-Man. So we got Across the Spider-Verse. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spider people. Hopefully we can find a way to, increase some of these spiders, the capacity of some of those Spider-Man. But for now, we're allowed 3 Spider-Mans to help us. The ones we definitely want to use we want to keep on the table is Spider-Man Miles Morales, and we want to keep Spider UK. So these are going to be our 2 guys. Miles Morales, we don't really care. Silk, we don't really care. And Spider-Man, the rocking Spider-Man, these are our 2 main allies because he's going to deal damage for all the Spider-Verse cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So technically we can only have a maximum of 3, 4, 5 out at the same time, I think. Wait. 3 allies. Yeah. So 1, 2, he would deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically he deals 5 damage. I don't think we can have more than 5 spider cards at a time in this build. in protection. So that is 5 spider cards. So Spider UK and Spider-Man just keeps readying us. So it's really cool. So we can kind of use a semi-perfect defense strategy here for the Spider-Verse. But yeah, we're definitely looking into playing into that, into the Spider-Verse movie here. And hopefully with the next couple of releases that are coming out, we'll get more Spider people, and maybe we can do that in more different ways. All right. We did put a med team in the deck. The med team is mostly going to be keeping Spider-Man, Peter Parker alive. Again, the fact that he can ready us over and over is just too good. Aside from that, so kind of like looking into the perfect defense strategy, but not that much. We're just putting an armored vest. We're putting an unflappable. We're putting an electrostatic armor, and we're just putting 2 hard to ignores because it's going to happen once in a while, and this can really help us keep control of the main scheme as much as possible. As far as defense events, we're running 1, 2, and 3 Defiances. Again, because her cost curve is pretty high in her kit, we want to be playing cards that are very cheap. So the 3 Defiances and the 3 Never Back Downs, because unlike Spider-Man, she doesn't have a trigger when the villain attacks. So there's no Spider Sense. There's no drawing cards when that happens. So I think for Spider-Gwen, being able to stun the villain in solo play is super, super efficient. So again, we have all these really cheap cards that we can play. But then we have also a Night Nurse if ever we get stunned or confused. So that's always annoying. And then we have 1, 2, 3 double resources and 1 Power of All of Us, because we do have a couple of gray spider people and across the Spider-Verse. So we can actually pay with the double resource here. Power of Green to be able to play the med team, and the other ones just, you know, and plus they're wild resources, so they kind of trigger other things that we might need. And that is why there is only 1 of each in the deck. But this is it across the Spider-Verse. Again, I've played this. It's pretty fun to play. Again, Spidey UK, so good into this. And then, so basically, you're going to be using Defiance. It's going to trigger your Dizzying Reflex. You just kind of want to soak up damage as much as you can. And then at one point, you know, once you have all your Spider people, you'll start drawing cards with the Web of Life and all that stuff. And you'll be able to increase your hand size and then just attack. And then Spider-Man's going to ready you so you can attack, ghost kicks, and all that kind of good stuff. So it's very, very, it's very thematic to having a bunch of Spider-Man in here. So kind of like Spider-Man No Way Home. There's so many Spider people. So it is just a fun deck to play and just very thematic. Is it an optimal build? No, I don't think it's anything optimal, but it is super thematic and fun. So unless you're going up against Ronin, you should have a pretty good time with this deck to have some fun here. All right, so that is it. Let's go check out the Justice build that we put together. All right, for our Justice build, it's kind of sad because there's not a lot of things to do here in Justice that make her quite unique. The response events are limited to only a few, and they're not like there's a couple I don't even want to use because they don't really make any sense in her kit. But again, so I don't even know what to call this deck. Just basically Street Justice. I think that's what I'll just call it, Street Justice. All right, so as our responses, we do have 3 Turn the Tides and 3 Making an Entrances. So these are our Justice that make the cut here for our responses. And then again, we're going to go back to what we did in Aggression. We're going to add the 3 Warnings because these are a really cool interrupt that we can use. So that's very fun. I was thinking about adding as well the Emergency, because the Emergency has that kind of same thing, but is when it's the way it's worded. The Emergency doesn't actually make any sense. It says when the villain schemes, so it has to be when the villain schemes. So that's why I haven't been including it, because then if the villain's scheming, I'm going to be an alter ego most likely. So it's going to be just kind of like a weird interaction. So it's not going to be very, very sexy. So going on the Street Justice, we have the 3 beat cops. We have 2 one ways or another just to go get some side schemes. Aside from that, we're running Agent Coulson, who's kind of like training. And then we got Daredevil. I was thinking, if you don't like Agent Coulson, you can always get rid of him and just add Jessica Jones. Easy replacement, Jessica Jones for Coulson. And then, because I don't even think I put a preparation in here, so definitely add Jessica Jones instead of that. And then we have 1 sonic rifle, under surveillance, heroic intuition, and skilled investigator for that. And then, yeah, I'm going to replace that right away for a Jessica Jones. So it's a little bit more Street Justice-y. There you go. Even though, there you go. Goodbye, Coulson. You're done. You're done. You're fired. You're fired, Coulson. Plus, I'm not building the shield thing because I think that's more of a Miles Morales thing. I think it's just, I don't know. I didn't want to do the shield trait because, again, it can be done with anyone. So we'll talk about that in when we do the justice aspects. And then we just have some resources. So this is kind of like just like it's an okay build. It's gonna be justice. Definitely a solo play build. Definitely not looking at anything in multiplayer. This is 100% a solo build for justice. If you think she's gonna have trouble thwarting, you should be okay because you can have making an entrance for an extra 2, so you can remove 4 threat from a scheme. You go get one way or another, draw a bunch of cards, and then you can dizzy reflex. So again, the weird interactions with the justice cards is like, if I remove all the threat, what am I doing? So the other ways to play it around it is if you put a bunch of justice events, but then you're not using the making an entrance. You're just, so it's very, justice is definitely not her aspect. All right, so it's okay, but definitely not something that's going to be like, oh my gosh, this is so fun to play. It's going to be like, okay, we can build a justice deck with her. It works? Really? So there you go. So that is a justice idea. Because the only other responses are great responsibility and foiled. So those are the only other responses. Yeah, it's true. There's lay down the law, but again, if you're laying down the law, you're going down to alter ego to come back to ready. So it means that you wanted to recover. So again, it's kind of weird. It's just, it doesn't have the reaction cards that we're looking for Ghost Spider. And again, it doesn't really matter because even if with the amount of heroes that we have, even if she's not good in justice, who cares? It doesn't really matter. But here's a deck idea, Street Justice. You like it, you use it. You don't, who cares? It doesn't matter. All right, let's go see what you can do in leadership. All right, for the leadership build. Now, this one I'm actually pretty excited about because it feels really, really fun. And we're not going to be using a lot of cards. We're going to be using some cards that we don't really get to use a lot. So for this deck, again, Moxie is one of those hero responses that is kind of a weird interaction with her. So you can't really trigger dizzying reflexes all that much. So Moxie is a dud right now. And with the card pool that is, it only leaves us 2 more targets. So I think the first target we have is pretty fun, is Teamwork. Now that is going to help us increase our stats. We're going to be able to ready. And if we have 2 Teamworks in hand, we get to actually do those twice. Now, funny enough, the other one, I forgot what I'll tell you the call. This is Iron Man's leadership training. So this is, I think it's pretty fun. Know when to use your allies and then know when to, get rid of them. And because we're going to be using 3 last stands. So these are another hero interrupt in event, which will trigger the dizzying reflexes, by the way, which is kind of fun because it's an easy way. We sacrifice an ally and we get to trigger that dizzy reflexings to ready up. So not too worried about defending. So again, it gives an ally +3 attack and then we just discard that ally. So that's pretty fun. And again, I gotta bring this back because again, we want to have some ways of triggering our dizzy reflex during the villain phase. So we added again those 3 warnings. I'm telling you, that warning card is found a new home with the Ghost Spider. Super fun, especially in solo play. All right, so there you go. So that is a lot of damage, but we need some bodies for that, and we don't want to pay too much for our bodies. So we're only going to be playing the cards that cost 2. So Wonder Bra, Hawkeye, Squirrel Girl, Kaloo, Ant-Man, and then we got one that costs a bit more. It's White Tiger, but she draws us cards, so that is super fun. So these are all going to be coming into the play. We're going to be using them once or twice, and then we're going to be using them to go away with the +3 attack. Don't fear, we still have, we said it's Iron Man's training. So Iron Man is going to be our target because he's going to get a sidearm, an inspired, a reinforced suit, and a sky cycle. So Iron Man's going to get 4 free upgrades. So he's kind of going to be our mentor, and he's going to be teaching us all about teamwork. So again, so we can actually boost our attack to, I think it's 4. So we can boost our attack for 6. We can boost our thwart for 3. So she can thwart for 4 or attack for 6 with the teamwork, and then ready, and then he can ready. And if I have another one, basically it's 12 damage with the team training, which is pretty cool as a combo wombo. Because we want to be using our allies most, so we got 2 command teams. This is not going to be for Iron Man. This is going to be for like our Wonder Man or our second activation, because they all pretty much have 2 health. So command team, we get to ready him. So we get to use our allies twice in the same turn, and we get to sacrifice them. If we don't have a sacrifice card, well, we just use him as a blocker if we need to, after we've done it with Ghost Spider. After that, we have an Avengers Tower, because why pay full price for Avengers when you can reduce it to a 1 cost? And then finally, we have the 3 double resources. And again, this is Iron Man's leadership training: know when to use friends and know when to lose friends. So I really like this deck. It's very fun to play. I seriously, it's kind of, it's that weird place where how do you play leadership with a character that is mostly event based? You just play some janky stuff. So I really like this. The team training here is going to be really, really fun, and it's going to play off really well off of the rest of these cards. If you want, you can also replace some of the cards. If you don't like Wonder Man, you could put Maria Hill. It doesn't matter. I just put an Avengers kind of theme just so I can get the rebate, but you can definitely play Maria Hill if you want, if you're playing in a multiplayer game. But this is actually pretty fun in solo or in multiplayer. So it's a great little fun deck to try out. So please, if you like these decks, so this was my final build. I'm not going to build anything in basics because there's definitely, aside from the warning, which we've already seen, there's nothing special to do here with the Ghost Spider in basics. So that is going to be the limitation. So we got 4 nice decks. I hope you guys enjoyed these decks. Definitely try them. I know I wish I was as good as Brian V to be able to do some write-ups on some of these thematic decks. But I think if you want to try Ghost Spider in leadership, this is your build. No need to strengthen numbers. No need to do all that crap. This is thematic, and it's going to be triggering off her mechanics of dizzying reflex as much as possible. So, hey, if you're listening, and if Brian V, you watch this and you've seen the aggression, the ones I'm the most proud of are the aggression, leadership, and the protection builds that I really, really think are super fun. The justice build, I'm just like, it's just the justice build. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed these videos. Please write your comments. Tell me what you think about these decks. Is that something you're looking to try? Is this a thematic build that you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. That's interesting. So I hope you guys see these and it inspires you to build your own kind of deck. And you obviously, this is just a suggestion. You can try whatever you want. But I hope this will inspire you to check out Ghost Spider in the many different ways that she can be played. So keep on playing Marvel Champions, and I hope this Ghost Spider deck tech will help you beat the game. Ciao, ciao.